started when Germany, led by Chancellor Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland in September 1939. England then gave Germany 3 days to leave, otherwise they'd declare war on Germany, because Poland is one of Britain's allies. Germany did not leave, and the 3rd of September 1999, Britain went to war with Germany for the second time in less than 1/4 of a century. Today I'm going to be looking at what everyday life was like for British people in World War II, and answer questions such as, what did they have for entertainment, and what was rationing, and also, what is an air raid shelter? But firstly, we will start by interviewing Audrey Morris, my nana, who was exactly my age when the war broke out. Well, hello, Nana.
Hello, Poppet. How are you?
Well, I'm quite good.
Yes.
Yeah, so my first question is where did you live during the war?
Well, I lived in the country north of England,
Okay.
which is in a county called Northumberland.
Okay. And what did your daddy do during the war?
My father was in a reserved occupation. He worked in the shipyards on the River Tyne.
Okay. And what did he exactly do on the shipyards?
In the shipyards during the war, they were making battleships and also submarines, anything that they could go into battle with.
Okay. So, did any of the houses in the countryside ever get bombed during enemy raids?
Yes, we had a lot of enemy raids. The enemy were particularly trying to bomb the factories on the River Tyne. Now remember, on one occasion they managed to bomb a sugar factory. So you can imagine the smell that occurred when that went up with incendiary bombs.
Yes, and the final question, because we're running late, is did any of your family get bombed during the war?
No, fortunately we didn't. We had what was called air raid shelters in the garden, and we used to have to go, if the sirens went, we had to go into the dugout air raid shelters, which were half underground, and then if the sirens went after midnight, the all clear went after midnight, we didn't have to go to school next day. So we always looked to see if the all clear went after midnight, then we didn't have to go to school.
That was very nice.
Now, just a little small snippet. During the war, beginning of the war, they closed all the schools in our area. So all the school children had to go to school in other people's houses.
Now that is very strange.
That is, yes.
Also, what did you keep in your air raid shelter?
Well, we had bunk beds,
Okay.
so we could go to sleep in the air raid shelter.
Yeah.
And in the corner of the air raid shelter, because it was all underground, we had to dig a biggish hole and put a bucket in the corner, so that collected all the water that used to seep down into the air raid shelter.
Okay.
So, and my father made a very, very thick door to stop any fire getting into the air raid shelter.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your time with the interview, Nana. And
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, we did up to a point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you very
thank
much.
you, Nana.
You are provided with a steel shelter and have not erected it, Do so at once. First, dig a pit 4 feet deep. Then, build your shelter inside it.
Two, one. Go.
Living in the war was hard. Very hard. Everything during the war was hard. Especially the food. Now let's have a look at how much food they actually got. Because during the war, food was rationed. And I have here your daily ration for a week. So, shall we go through all of this? Firstly, get 100 grams of bacon, or ham if you'd like to say it. And we don't have any sausages here, but sausages were not rationed. And also offal was not rationed either, because that's guts. And the reason sausages weren't rationed was because they were already very hard to obtain. And they didn't contain much meat. And then, of course, we have butter and cheese. And we also go on to 1 egg for the whole week, remember? 250 grams of sugar, 6 tea bags, and we also have milk, 3 pints of milk to do you for the week. So, rationing wasn't very nice, was it? And the reason food was rationed was because supply ships kept getting shot down by German U-boats. Because most of the food we have today is supplied from another country, such as sugar or sugarcane is found in Egypt and places like that. So it really, truly is very hard during the war. So now in conclusion, I would just like to do the war in numbers. 2, the amount of nuclear bombs that were dropped during World War II. And 6, the amount of years the war lasted. There were 14 countries in the war and 268 planes. And 268 planes were tragically lost by the Luftwaffe, which are the German Air Force, at the Battle of Britain. And 2,016 ships were sunk during World War II. 5,500 tanks were used during the D-Day landings. And 31,000 aircraft sorties were used during the Battle of Britain. 2 million homes were destroyed in the Blitz, and 2.87 million Allied troops in the D-Day landings. And of course, 72 million people died during World War II. And I am glad the war is over, despite the war being a tragic time. And I think we all should be grateful that now we live in peace.